Welcome to Inspire Me with Jay, a podcast discussing meditation, the near-death experience. Welcome to Inspire Me with Jay. I'm your host, Jay Spillers, author and teacher. I wanted to remind you that you can sign up for free one-on-one meditation coaching with me. The link is in the description. I would love to coach you and help you to start the meditation process so that you can transform your life. Today I have a guest, Emily. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name's Emily Otto, and I call myself a healer for healers, but basically I do business and marketing mentorship for people who identify as healers, witches, priestesses, basically folks who do anything kind of weird and interesting and help them figure out how to make it make sense online and in person so their people can find them and hire them.
So, did you have a profound transformation through meditation?
I did. So I was in Western Massachusetts and really hated my corporate job, my relationship, everything was very stressful, and I found myself just spiraling downward again and again, and as doctors sometimes do, they recommended yoga. And so that's really my first experience with meditation was in a yoga practice. And then once I moved back home to Michigan, I started doing walking meditation. And that helped me so much more because the idea of just holding still and meditating was really difficult for me starting out.
Hmm. So, like, what kind of things did you see changing in your life?
That's a great question. I felt a lot more calm, a lot more centered and resourced, and like I could hear myself think with all of the chaos and stress happening around me. And so now a lot of my meditation is moving meditation, whether it's long walks in the woods or intentional mindful pacing back and forth.
So, um, did this sort of propel you into the healing work that you do now?
It did. So I became a yoga teacher after practicing for many years. And then one thing kind of led to another, exploring all these different healing arts modalities, Thai and Shiatsu bodywork and astrology and any energy work, Akashic records readings. And it really just helped me recognize how much more depth and experience and empowerment there can be from grounding and centering and connecting to ourselves again and again.
Hmm. So, when did you start meditating? How long ago was this?
Probably about 15 years ago. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it really helped me
Do
finally
you
quit my
actually
corporate job. Yeah. Sorry,
do you
it
actually
sounded like
teach yoga?
I don't any longer, but I do teach through guided meditations. And I do teach my clients to do a lot of work with their own intuition and self trust, of which a part of that is meditation.
Hmm. How do you teach through guided meditation?
Yeah. So a lot of the work I do inside of my Rich Witch Collective is around connecting to our clients and leading through a guided meditation of how do we connect to those other energies, so those other souls in the world that are meant to connect with us in this space and time so that we can be brought together.
Hmm. So, I mean, in a day, how often do you meditate?
Probably once. So I'm also a mom of a 3 and a 6-year-old, and we run a community homestead, which is where I'm at right now with yaks and chickens and people and a living pond and an elven tree house and a hobbit hole. So I usually make time in the morning and then at night.
Hmm. Did you feel like you were more calm and centered through your practice?
Hmm. Yes. I think the hardest part is absolutely making it a priority and making the time. And it changes everything when you do, but it's so easy to let it slip away. Do you have a lot of ways you teach people to make it a priority, or what's the best way through for that?
Well, I mean, I think one thing is just you have to commit to it, and you have to do it every day and find a time that works for you, because sometimes you may just have to squeeze something in,
Mhm.
and I think a lot of times is you have to look at what you actually do, because if you spend a lot of time, watching TV or you're, um, on social media, maybe you could think, how can I cut some of this so that I can put meditation in, which would be productive
Hmm.
and helpful. you
Mhm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I A lot of what I do is connecting with people and then connecting to self. So it does feel like a treat to when I do watch a movie or intentionally taking in content. And I love that point about committing to the time.
You're listening to the Inspire Me with Jay podcast. Please do like and subscribe to the channel, bringing hope and inspiration to the world.
Mhm. Yeah, because it seems like even more than the actual time that you put in, like if you put in a half hour or 20 minutes or whatever, just being consistent is the most important thing because it's kind of like exercise in that, if you
Absolutely.
exercise once a month, it's not really going to do that much good for you. You're not going to see the
Absolutely.
change.
Hmm. That makes complete sense. Yeah, I agree.
Mhm. How do you help healers to really connect with their clients? How do you help them to do that?
Sure. So there's a lot of different ways. With the guided meditation, it's usually focusing on who their specific work is for at that particular time. So if they're trying to sell a certain program or a certain offer, and really considering, okay, what's happening in that person's life? Where are they at? What are they Google searching at 3 a.m? And then weaving that into the marketing. So starting with center, with inspiration and intention, and then moving forward into the heart centered marketing and sacred sales and creating content, posts, posters, conversations that lead with that spark in mind.
Hmm. So have you gained any wisdom or insights through meditation yourself? Like, that have
Hmm.
really changed your, I mean, that have really turned things around for you?
Sure. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is centering in myself again and again, and like having the fortitude and the empowerment and the self-trust to keep moving with ideas or with ways of living or with business concepts. Because if you're leading something or doing something new and different, it's really easy to get sucked under the waves or feel like it's impossible. But when we develop and continually work on the self trust muscle, which I think meditation does in a profound way, I think it's that daily consistent practice of commitment to the practice that creates the commitment to self and then the action in the world. So it for me, the profound shift comes from the simplicity of the practice.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, because I teach like a meditation class on Monday nights, and we
Mm.
did this Zen meditation, and I brought in a recording of it, and it's like all you were doing is just kind of sitting there and counting your breath, and it was really, but it's like it kind of takes a lot of focus, but it sort of takes you away from everything else,
Mhm.
put you in a
I
very
love that.
set mind.
Yeah, it's so simple and so accessible and feels hard to commit to.
Have you tried different types of meditation practices?
I have done a lot of moving meditation, and then I also practiced Ashtanga yoga for the last 7 years, um, with one of the only certified female teachers in the world. And so most of it for me is moving meditation, breath work, guided meditations, but not aligned to a particular teacher usually.
What is Ashtava yoga
Sure.
primarily focused on? Because I've heard of like yoga nidra before. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
Yeah. Yoga Nidra is a lovely practice. It's usually more yin based and breath. And then Ashtanga yoga is very structured in the form. And so it seems intimidating at first of, oh man, these crazy postures that I need to do. And it has to go in a certain sequence. But it's the repetition and the practice and the sequence and doing the same thing again and again that gets you into that state of flow and meditation and centering. The breath syncs to each inhale and exhale sync to each motion, and then it's counted, and then every person in the room is developing their own unique practice. So I fell in love with it.
So what would you say to someone that's like interested in starting to meditate or do yoga? Like where would you suggest they start?
Yeah, I would start with a recorded practice, or by going in person to a class or an event, something guided so that it's not just you trying to do it on your own to change a new habit.
So do you still help people, connect in meditation, or is it more about taking the healers so that they can connect?
It's both. I help people connect to themselves and then connect to their clients. Yeah, and kind of create like a spider web of energy and intention.
So, are you doing things like podcasts? Have you written any books or anything, or
I
what
have.
kind
I
of
have my
things are
own
you?
podcast. Yeah, I have my own podcast called The Emily Otto Show, and it's business mentoring for witches, healers, and priestesses. And then I have a couple ebooks on Amazon. One about inspiring quitting stories from people who decided to quit their day jobs and start a heart-centered healing business. And then I have a membership called the Rich Witch Collective that's open most of the time. It'll open again in April. And that includes weekly coaching and support. And I have an entire vault of training programs of how do you do sales? How do you make programs? How do you figure out the marketing, but from center, not from this external, get it done and make money kind of space.
So, in terms of like healers, do you like encourage them to um, offer like free type programming to kind of get their foot in the door and
Yeah, so I
get
usually recommend.
clients?
Yep. Yep. I usually recommend my clients have a free offer or a free downloadable offer, and then a one off way to work with somebody. So a $99 offer, 55, whatever it is, and then a longer term supported program, 3 months of support, 6 months of support, whatever that looks like, so that there's different ways for people to come in.
So, where can people reach out to you if they're interested in getting in
Yeah.
contact with you?
That would be great. So my website is emily-otto.com, or you can find me at Emily Otto Rebelle, Rebelle, on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook.
Okay. Well, is there like one final word you'd like to leave with the audience before we close out?
I think the biggest thing is if you're feeling a call to center yourself more and have your own transformation through meditation, commit, go for it, and get support in it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for being on today.
Thank
it
you
was a
so
pleasure
much
to
for
have
having
you.
me. Thank you.
Have you ever wanted to learn to meditate? Check out my book, Meditation for Everyone: How to Quickly Have a More Peaceful, Mindful, and Fulfilled Life, and support this channel. With Meditation for Everyone, you will learn to quickly and easily meditate, relieve stress and anxiety, alleviate depression, and have more joy, peace, and relaxation. What you will learn: mindfulness, the art of stillness, step by step on how to meditate, strategies for overcoming challenges to meditation, and much more. D. Mason said this is a nice meditation book, even for those already meditating. I agree with the statements that it will help to have a more peaceful, mindful, and fulfilled life. 4.6 star rating, available on Amazon.